Hey everybody, it is Taylor of Summer Del Sol here. Today I'll be working on my fuel filler setup. I'm excited to hopefully make this a little less unattractive. So I'm gonna wrangle that today and show you the process. Well, as you can see, this is not the most flattering angle for the Exocet. This nasty mess is gonna get replaced with something that'll sit nice and flush underneath that rear bodywork. Here is the hose that I'll be using to replace this with. I'll link this part and the next part that I'll show you in a second on the video description below. And yes, my nails do match the chassis. Thank you for noticing. And here is that flush cap. So before I went disconnecting any tubes that led to open gas fumes, I thought it wise to assemble everything and have it at the ready before I killed off too many brain cells. Especially since I only have about 2 to rub together. With the new hose assembled and at the ready, it was time to take this thing off. And 30 years made it pretty difficult to take some of these components off. I finally managed to get this screw loose without stripping it, thankfully. And even with that screw loose, it was still a little bit of a chore to get this hardware off. Like I said, 30 years had this thing on pretty well. It took a little extra effort to wiggle this off where the tank met the hose, but I was finally able to do it. After that, it was at least pretty easy to remove this standard clamp. But again, even with all the clamps removed, these things were on there. In retrospect, it's a good thing, especially when gas is involved, that this thing did not want to come loose. I eventually broke down and had to slice them off with an X-Acto knife. I don't anticipate having any fuel issues from any score lines here, but I tried to be as delicate as I could so as not to just damage any sort of seal I would get with a new hose. Oh, that's gassy. Don't pour on me, please. No party foul today. Alright, anybody feel dumber? Why, yes. Yes, I do. I tried to install this hose as quickly as I could, but it is a snug fit by nature. I don't think I'm speaking Simlish, so I might be okay. Once the connection was made, it was a lot better, but you can see I still have that open breather hole up top. But I might still run a vent hose into this current hose that I'm installing down the line if I have any fuel filling issues. I'll be sure to update if I do. Since I'm still undecided, I'm just going to keep this loose and have a glove be the official cork for now. I'm hoping this hose is long enough to sit flush with the gas tank cover, but we'll find out down the line. So a little handy trick I noticed too, I was using the sun and shadows to see if I could find any gas fumes. I'm not sure if the camera picked it up, but it was a great way to see if I was leaking any fumes. With as much of this corked off as humanly possible in such a terrible way, I wanted to get this taped up and out of the way as much as I could, at least for the time being. I promise there will be a much more permanent solution than a glove in the gas tank. Not to mention, I'm sure that gas would eat that glove over time. With everything tightened down and the glove, well, existing, it was time to top it off a little further and see if this thing would hold. I was very much looking forward to being able to drive this thing without relying on some string I found in the garage. I'll just say I'm very much looking forward to the upgrade. Hey, and it seems pretty good. Start with half a gallon. Which means I obviously have to take it out for a test drive. It was a quick one this time, but thank you guys so much for watching and following along. I always appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around for the duration of this build. I'm almost there, but for now, I'll catch you next time.